Welcome to your Yoga for Labor and Birth class. My name is Clarissa and I'll be guiding you through. I'm currently 32 weeks pregnant and thinking about starting to get ready for labor and birth. Feeling those sit bones beneath, let's begin closing the eyes, taking one hand on your navel and one hand on your heart. Start to notice where your breath is moving from. Slow the breath right down. Taking deeper breaths in and out of the nose. As you inhale, feel your belly expand and move that breath up into your chest. As you exhale, feel your chest fall and your navel will hug into baby. As you inhale, you feel a full belly. Rise that breath up to your chest, and as you exhale, you feel the chest release, and again the navel hugs into baby as we press that breath out. Continue with this 2-part breath. Sometimes our mind will wander away, but we continue to connect with our breathing and to connect with our baby. Let your hands release from where they are, maybe circling around your belly, feeling that warmth underneath your palms, and then slowly lowering your hands to your knees. Relax your shoulders. And we let the breath flow naturally. As the chin drops down towards your chest, think about curling and rounding your spine. As we inhale, we'll roll the shoulders back, lift the heart, and gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, we'll curl to roll over. And these are called spinal waves. I encourage you to keep going with your breath and at your own pace. Spinal waves are so great for helping baby to get into an optimal position. Takes that pressure off of the lower back. Helps us to wake up and warm through the spine. Taking one hand down to the side and reaching your other hand up and over, we start to get into the ribs. Continue to rock from side to side, side bending. Maybe close the eyes if that feels nice. Just feel that spaciousness in the ribs. In the center, we place one hand in front and one behind and gaze over one of your shoulders. Stay with your breath. And then changing to the other side, tall through your spine and a look over your shoulder. Returning back to the middle, both palms shine forward. Reach up to the sky and exhale wide elbows as we bring the arms back down. Continue through that motion. I call that cactus arms. It feels so lovely to open up through the front of the chest and shoulders. The hands travel up and then we open them wide, feeling that expansion through the chest and shoulders. With that complete, let's stretch the legs out in front and give them a little shake about, returning some of that blood flow to the legs. We'll be flexing and pointing the ankles as we rotate them around. Next, let's pull the knees back, taking the feet wide towards the edges. And we'll curl and round the spine again. So this is another version of those spinal waves. Lifting the heart, inhaling as you look up, and exhale to curl and round. Sometimes it feels nice to let the hands press into the legs, kind of massaging any fluid that might be settling in through your legs. If you have any swelling, that can feel kind of nice to massage the legs yourself. And these are bigger spinal waves. We have a little more space to take these. And then we'll come to our Baddha Konasana, our diamond shape with the soles of the feet together, and start to take a neck roll. Inhaling as we look up and exhaling around, changing directions after each couple rotations. And in this shape, we're stretching out through our inner thigh and groins, those areas of the body that we want to feel loose and relaxed. And when that feels complete, coming forward, thinking long spine as you forward fold, and then chin drops at the bottom. Relax your neck, bring the shoulders down. And breathing into that stretch and those sensations. As we exhale, we really relax into it. Rolling yourself back up. Let's slowly and gently make our way towards an all fours position. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking my knees really wide, creating lots of space, finding child's pose with the hips pushing back towards the heels and stretching the arms either long in front or folding the arms underneath and turning one cheek down. In child's pose, really let the front of your body melt down towards the ground. Feel some spaciousness in the upper back and that space between the shoulder blades, but with every exhale, we sink the chest down. This is a really lovely resting pose. We get again that nice little release for the lower back. Next exhale, slowly coming out of that shape, letting the knees adjust to about pelvic width distance. And we'll take our cat-cow curls, chin tucks, tailbone tucks. Inhaling, lift the heart. Relax the belly. Think hammock position for baby. Exhale, chin hugs as we curl and round. Full relaxed belly as you inhale and lift the gaze. Exhale, we could hug the navel in towards baby again as we curl to round the spine. This is again another spinal wave or pelvic tilt, and this is one of my favorites. Feels so nice as we release the back. Next, coming to puppy dog pose, where we walk the arms forward until we feel like we can't walk them forward anymore. We bring the elbows down and you rest your head. This time the pelvis is up, as opposed to child's pose where the pelvis sinks to the heels. I like to fold my arms and turn one cheek down. Sometimes this is called the knee to chest position because both the knees are down and the chest. This position is wonderful for getting baby into a good position. If labor starts and stalls, it's another wonderful shape to just help baby engage a little bit better. Coming out, I like to take my hands under my shoulders and press myself back up, and I'm going to relax in child's pose. Again, stretching the arms long or folding the arms and turning your other cheek down this time. And with that last breath, we slowly come out of that shape. We come back to an all fours position, and I'm going to extend one of my legs to the side. In this position, let's start to rock forward and back, kind of like we're pushing the hips back as if we're going towards child's pose. But with the leg extended, we get a nice big stretch in through that inner thigh and all the way up into your inner groins. So just keep rocking at your own pace, feeling that stretch as you push the hips back and making sure your knee is cozy with that position. You could always put a blanket or a pillow under your knee. I'm heel toeing my foot in a little bit closer so I can come to what I call the rocking lunge. I'm just double checking that my knee is guiding in the direction of my toes and rocking forward and back into that lunge. Lunges are also wonderful, helping baby get into a good position in pregnancy. And in labor, sometimes babies need to tilt their head in a different position. Sometimes they open their chin and aren't coming in quite an optimal way. So lunges are wonderful for helping baby sneak into a good position. As I roll up, I'm letting my elbow rest on my thigh and reaching my top hand up towards the sky. Just taking a little hold. As I come up, I'm straightening my legs, sliding my hand down, and reaching my other hand up and over for the gate. Nice one for getting into those ribs. Coming up, I'm reaching down to the floor on the other side and taking a big stretch up and over. And both knees bending as I gather my knee, slide it underneath. And I'm switching to the other side. On the other side, I extend my leg out and I start to do that rock forward and back as if I was pushing back towards child's pose. I'm always mindful of the sensations in my body, making sure I'm feeling just enough stretch, not too much. And coming to that rocking side lunge, so I heel-toed my foot in a little bit closer, watching that my knee is guiding in the direction of those toes and my knee is not pushing past the toes. Taking that side-to-side rock. And I've switched to fists on the ground just to give my wrists a little bit of a break. And you could always have some height underneath your hands, may it be a bolster or some blocks. Rolling ourselves up, that leg is heel-toeing in a little bit closer, creating a little shelf for the elbow to rest, and top hand comes up towards the sky. Hand comes to hip as we slide that leg long, reaching down, planting your hand and stretching up and over. Coming up, reaching towards the ground, stacking shoulder over top of your wrist and a big stretch to the side. Bending both knees as we swing the hands back down, gather that knee, place it underneath. From where you are, tuck your toes, lift the hips, find a downward facing dog with feet pretty wide, creating lots of space. Roll the shoulders back and away from your ears and maybe trading the heels down one at a time to get into tight calves. Staying with your breath. As I come to a standing position, I'm walking my hands back towards my feet, either keeping the hands on the ground or bending the knees, letting the elbows rest and still getting heavy through the crown of the head as we look down. Just letting the spine arrive and then slowly rolling up to come to stand. Reaching wide, inhale and exhale through the middle. Let's come to a wide stance, turning the toes open on both sides, taking the palms to touch in front of your heart. I'll take a nice deep squat. Inhaling, we lift the heart, 5-point star. Exhale, those knees open up and we tuck the tailbone. So we're coming into a squat, not as if we're sitting in a chair, but letting the tailbone drive down. Taking our own pace as you inhale, we lift and exhale to come down. Squats are so wonderful, stretching and strengthening those big muscles of the legs, relaxing the pelvic floor as we come down. And we stay in that squat and push that left shoulder forward, keeping both arms straight. And then switch to the other side, right shoulders forward, arms stay straight, little twist. And then roll yourself up and heel toe those feet in. Let's come to a bit of a shorter stance, so a little bit wider than the shoulders, and I'm figurating my hips. My hands are on my thighs. Going deeper, maybe elbows rest on the thighs. You might feel like you could settle all the way down into what's called Hindi squat, but it's a very deep squat. I let myself rock back and forth a few times, and then I'm settling into stillness. If your body is saying no, Hindi squat is too deep, come to that higher version where maybe elbows rests on the thighs. Think relaxed, open pelvic floor, and then slowly curl to roll back into your forward fold. Heavy head, relaxed shoulders. And then walking my hands forward, finding downward facing dog. Bring the knees down, knees nice and wide, finding child's pose. We just let all that we've done soak into the body. Slow, deep breaths. Next exhale, we slowly roll back up. And we start to bring the hands a little bit ahead of the shoulders, and we create lots of space to move the hips around. So it's really good to practice moving our hips in whatever way feels natural. May it be circles or figure eight motions. Upward facing dog is fine as long as your belly has a little space underneath. All of these motions are really, really good in labor. Always changing the shape and angle of the pelvis as we let it move in different ways. Coming to a downward facing dog so that you can bring one of your shins forward for our hip stretch, our pigeon. Now, if pigeon isn't comfortable, you could do a position called pinwheel, where instead of the leg being long behind you, you tuck the leg in instead. We're getting into the same areas, it's just a little bit less. It could be hands down on the ground, could be elbows down. Sometimes elbows feels too deep, could have blocks under the arms or a bolster. Make sure that the heel's not pressing into your belly so you've left some space there. And keep breathing into those tight sensations. Try to let yourself let go and relax on the exhale. Soften the jaw. Relax the brow space. Slowly rolling up. Taking a counter pose, could be whatever you want. I've come to a seat and I'm waving my knees from side to side. Swinging my legs around to take my hip stretch on the opposite side. Could either be that pinwheel, where that back leg is tucked, or it could be pigeon, where that back leg is long behind you. Whichever you prefer, whatever feels more comfortable. Hands or elbows down. Heavy through the head, neck, and shoulders. Awareness of whether your jaw is tightening or not, trying to feel spaciousness there. We know there's an internal connection between the jaw and the pelvis, so if one is soft, the other can feel soft as well. So just consciously thinking about unclenching the teeth and feeling soft in the jaw so the pelvis can relax as well. Slowing the breath, lengthening it out as much as you can. And we roll ourselves back up. And we take another counter pose. This time I've stretched my legs long in front and I'm letting my feet wiggle from side to side. Now choose a side that you want to come down on, letting your elbow come to the earth, supporting your head in your hand. My upper knee, I've pulled it in, and I'm letting my ankle roll around. This is a nice stretch again, kind of that lunge stretch where we get into the inner thigh and groin, but we've taken the weight off of the legs as we're lying down now. I'm letting that knee pull in that direction of my shoulder, get that nice deep stretch, and then relax it away. And then I might start to circle the knee around or wave it from side to side, loosening up the hip. Bring that knee back down so knees are stacking. Lower your head down, spread your arms wide to either side. We take a lovely supine twist. And you could choose any arm position that you prefer. Sometimes I place one hand on my belly and just notice my breath moving in and out. As you come to the other side, you might roll to the other side or pick yourself up like I've done and change sides. Letting the knees stack, letting your elbow come down, your head is supported underneath your hand, and pull that upper knee in. Let the ankles roll around. Pull the knee in a little tighter and let it go. Rocking in and out. We then might circle the knee around or wave it from side to side, loosening up the hip a little bit more. Let your knees come down to stack. Let your head come down. Let your arms spread wide to either side. Relax the shoulders down. We get that nice stretch in the front of the chest and choosing an arm position that works well for you. Again, I've placed one hand on my belly just so I can feel my breath. Heading into a shape that you'd like to be in for Shavasana, this lovely resting pose where we soak in our practice. You might put a pillow between the knees if that feels nice, or a pillow underneath your head. I definitely suggest you use props if you have them. I've decided again to place a hand on my belly so I can feel my breath and connect to my baby. Closing your eyes. Get any little wiggles, shifts, or movements out of the way. Let yourself settle in whatever position you've decided to be in. And we let this whole practice soak into the body. Taking some time of stillness, and letting it all absorb. Feeling relaxed through all of our muscles, not holding on in any place anymore. It's feeling very, very heavy. We notice where our body is being held on the space, being held on top of props, and we let ourselves connect in a little bit more. Every inhale, we feel a lightness in our body. And every exhale, we sink into the depth. Imagine you could melt right into the floor. As you start to wake back up into the space, maybe stretching the limbs, that nice big good morning stretch. Slowly, gently press yourself back up to a gentle seated position, pressing your palms a touch in front of your heart. Thank you so much for joining me. Inhale, stretch up. Big exhale. I wish you all the best on this journey. Namaste.